Sustainachella, everyone!
Yeah. All right.
All right. Excited crowd we have here today. Awesome. Nashville's in the house. Love it. Love it. All right. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Flavia Tognoli. I'm the Sustainability Manager with the City of Miami Beach. And as part of our team, we have here with us Yanni. Say hello.
Hi, everyone. I'm Yanni, the Senior Sustainability Coordinator with the city. Welcome.
Right. And Alicia, say hello.
Hello, I'm Alicia, Sustainability Specialist with the city.
All right. Thank you so much. And we'll be introducing our panelists, but since we are heading to the warm-up, I just wanted to let you guys know that Nashville is in the house. We have Jennifer and Betsy here with us. So introductions coming soon, but they're right there. And I love how exciting this is. And so to know who's in the room, we have some questions for you guys as usual. Yanni, do you want to pull the pool out? Please. And you're on mute, just so you know, Yanni.
Oh, sorry. Did you guys get it? I sent it out.
Got it.
Awesome.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much, Yanni. And here we have some questions for you today. Where are you guys joining us from? Miami Beach? Any other places in Florida outside of Miami Beach? And if so, we want to know where you guys are joining us from. Any other US city, maybe some folks from Nashville, any other country. Oh, that would be cool, huh? If we have folks from other country joining us. Who are you participating with? Alone, friends, family, pets, co-workers? And what are some of your favorite green home features and our benefits? As you guys might know, that's why you guys are joining us. Today we'll be talking about greening our home. I am extremely excited because I'm pretty sure there's tons of stuff that I can be doing in my home that I'm not doing right now. So here you go. We have some of the answers. Health and wellness benefits, aesthetically pleasing, higher property value. Ooh, this is a good one, right? If you're thinking about selling your home. Improve indoor air quality, electric bill cost savings, another good one. We spend so much on air conditioner. And water bill cost savings. All right, and let's see, we're getting close to the 80%, right, Yanni? I think we're good to end the pool. Do you want to end the pool? Oh, you did it. Go, Yanni. All right, and if you look here, the majority of the folks joining us today are from Miami Beach. We have other folks from Florida. Let's see, Miami. All right, actually I'm in Miami today too. Oh, Lisa, Nashville, welcome. More folks from Nashville. Oh, a bunch of folks from Nashville. Love it, love it. Thank you so much for joining us, Nashville. The majority of you are joining by yourself. Really, no pets, not even a parrot or a dog. Huh? Bring your pets with you. They're always welcome. And the majority of you answered that your favorite green home feature is or benefit is really the health and wellness benefits. Oh, that's very nice. And then the second one, let's see, I think it was aesthetic pleasing and water bill cost savings. Great answers. All right, and this will give a very good idea of who is in the room for Betsy and Alicia, that will be our presenters today, and as well as Jennifer. And all right, so let's keep going, Annie. Do you want to do the housekeeping?
Sure. Let's see if it changes. There it goes. Perfect. All right. So for those of you who are joining us for the first time, we do have a couple of housekeeping rules. You'll notice that your microphones and videos are disabled. That's to keep anyone from Zoom bombing. If you want to ask a question, we highly recommend using the Q&A box so that you don't lose your question within the chat. And if you do want to use the chat to share your thoughts or any comments, make sure you click on all panelists and attendees so that everyone can see what you have to say. And these are
awesome.
our friends.
All right, and as our panelist friends here today, I'm already seeing a lot of action from Nashville in the room. So yes, Nashville's in the house. And we're starting with Betsy, eco architect and realtor. Say hi, Betsy. And you're muted. We always do that.
Hey, everyone. So glad you guys are here joining us. Very excited to chat with y'all today.
Yay, thanks for joining. We have Jennifer Rockstar from City of Nashville, Sustainability Rockstar.
Hello, thanks for having us. Good to see everybody.
All right, thank you, Jennifer. And we have Alicia, a sustainability superhero from City of Miami Beach.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
All right, thank you so much. We're very excited about this outstanding panel today. And yeah, I think if you want to stop sharing your screen, Alicia, you can start sharing our screen and we will get started. Oh yeah, Matt. So Matt is making comments. In our last Sustainachella, the folks that attended, WeLab gave all the participants really great toolkits. So thanks for the reminder, Matt. Glad you got it. All right, Alicia, all yours.
Yeah, so we're going to start off the presentation just going through your home, different rooms, different areas to see different ways that you could reduce your energy and your water use. So as I'm going through, if you have any tips that you don't see there that you've used in your home or that you're thinking of doing, feel free to share with everyone in the chat, and yeah, we can get some more ideas. And so starting in the bathroom, there's a lot of different opportunities that you can reduce water. So the first one is to turn off the water when you're brushing your teeth. Also, installing an aerator on your faucet can help to reduce the amount of water. Trying to take shorter showers can be difficult, but that's a great way to save some water. And then also fixing leaks. I mean, it can be a hassle, but that could be a way that you're really wasting a lot of water. And then also when you're replacing fixtures, making sure that you're choosing high efficiency toilets, faucets, shower heads, whatever you're replacing, to make sure that they are using as little water as possible. So next in the kitchen, one is light bulbs. So this applies to anywhere in your home. Switching out old light bulbs with more efficient ones. Also running your dishwasher only when you have a full load. And if you're washing dishes by hand, not keeping the water running the whole time, only when you really need it to rinse the dishes. And then here also, if you're replacing any appliances, making sure that they're energy efficient. So one way is to look for the Energy Star logo. That's one third-party certification that can show higher efficiency. And I'm not sure in the chat if anybody has been sharing any tips, but I'll be sure to go back and see if there's any other ideas. So next in the laundry area, only doing your, running your load when it's full, and washing your clothes with cold or cool water. And then also if there's nice weather, if you have space in your home, air drying your clothes, maybe buying like a drying rack and air drying your clothes instead of using your dryer. Next, in the living room, buying electronic strips so that you can plug in different electronics that you might have. And that's an easy way that once you're done using them to just turn everything off at the same time. Also, anywhere in your house, if you have natural light, taking advantage of that instead of turning on the light during the day. And then here, if you have a space heater, trying to like bundle up before using that. Okay, I have great tips about laundry in the chat. Thanks everyone for sharing. Then next we're gonna move on to your room. So here, very basic, easiest thing that you can do is turning off the light when you leave a room. Then also putting your computer or any other electronic on sleep mode when you finish using it, because even though you're not using it, it might be still pulling electricity through phantom loads. Then also turning off your TV before you fall asleep. I don't know if anybody else is guilty of that. Like you're very tired at the end of the long week, watching TV and then you fall asleep. Making sure that it's turned off before you sleep for the night. And here, these are other tips. If you have a tank water heater, if you're leaving home for the day, maybe turning it down a little bit since you won't be using hot water during the day. For your air conditioning, if you're leaving your house for the day, turning it down a little bit. And then when you get back home, you can turn it back to the temperature that you like. And then cleaning air filters to make sure everything is running as efficiently as possible. Also walking, biking, taking advantage of public transportation and nice weather instead of using your car when that's accessible. And then also I'll share in the chat a link to learn more about water conservation programs that Miami-Dade County has. So they have several rebates available for anybody that lives in Miami-Dade County.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Alicia. Yanni, I don't know if you want to, you're already on it. We are going to pass it to our rock star sustainability hero from City of Nashville, Jennifer.
Hi, everyone. So good to see you. Thank you to the City of Miami Beach for having us. We love being back with Sustainachella. So much fun. So howdy from Nashville. I'm Jennifer Westerholm. I work for the City of Nashville. And I'm just going to give you a quick couple quick things related to what we as a city do to make sure that our buildings are really resource efficient and really sustainable. So our department manages about 100 facilities, 3.5 million square feet. 80% of those buildings have building automation systems, which means our staff, our energy managers can look at all the different systems within those buildings remotely, troubleshoot if there's any kind of failure with equipment, or if it's too hot or too cold, they can manage the lighting and all those different systems to make sure that we're conserving energy. About 37% of our total facilities that we manage are LEED certified. We have an ordinance in our city which requires that new facilities be LEED certified. So we're getting close to 40% of our buildings are for the city, which is exciting. And we have about 1 megawatt of solar energy produced across 12 rooftops across our city. We have about over 2,000 solar panels across those 12 rooftops. So pretty proud of that and adding more all the time. Miami and Florida are kind of a little ahead of us probably on the solar thing, but we're working to catch up. And then you can see the statistic here. In 2019, across 21 of our high performance buildings, Nashville avoided energy costs of close to $600,000 and saved over 11 million gallons of water. So with that, just to let you know that we're working hard in Nashville to make sure that our facilities are green and healthy and preserving the planet. And I am so excited and honored today to introduce to you my friend and fellow Nashvilleian, Betsy Latrell. She is an eco-architect, a realtor, and just a dynamic person and friend. You can check her out on betsybomb.com on Instagram. So check her out. She's amazing. She's going to take us on a really fun ride through greening your home. And thanks again for having us.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that warm introduction. Let me get my screen shared. Thanks to Miami for inviting Nashville, and Jennifer, so glad you thought of me. And so thankful for all of you guys are doing on the big picture, the macro scale for metro-owned buildings. So let me get this puppy going. Presentation. Boom. There we go. Okay. So Go Green, Live Well is just kind of a summary for the talk. And tell you a little bit about myself. Like she mentioned, I am a licensed eco-architect. I'm a licensed architect that's focused on sustainability. So eco-architect. My husband and I, we have a small architecture and construction company here in Nashville called Maypop Building Workshop. And we are focusing on low carbon, high performance housing and custom carpentry. So you'll learn more about low carbon, high performance housing a little later and what that means. And I also have my real estate license. I've had that almost 4 years now. I realized real estate's really kind of the frontier as it comes to helping transform the market to be more sustainable and understanding how some of those financing mechanisms work and what needs to happen to make more green homes out there. So I have kind of a skill set that I like to blend around sustainability, blending architecture, construction, and real estate for inspired green living. I'm Realtor of the Village in town, great brokerage, great education, and together we've just merged with Parks Realty, so we have over 1,100 agents in the Middle Tennessee region. So really proud to have some folks there and folks in all sorts of different areas that help have a shared vision and want to help get more green homes out there. So just a little bit what we'll be talking about. Going to very briefly start with green living principles, kind of pulling off of what Alicia talked about. I'm going to talk about green building and green real estate. Green living, just as kind of an inspiration. I mean, this is all, y'all got to start somewhere. You got to get in where you fit in and just get started. Don't let perfection stand in the way of progress. This is my adorable dog Gracie and a cabbage that was really easy to grow and grew so big, and I didn't even have to try that hard, which is part of the, there's tons of low-hanging fruit that you can do to start to have a psychological win. I mean, and they save money. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer, but durable resources, they do really add up. And that's a great way to start. We're going to talk about a lot of things that are different levels of complexity and investment, but this is stuff you can do in the immediate future. We have backyard hens, blackberries. You can't kill these suckers and they're delicious. I mean, look how big that is. Didn't try that hard. With the proliferation of farmers markets now, it's really easy to get local food and support local regenerative agricultural practices and get them for a good price. We have worms in our basement. That's amazing. Twice a year, we make worm tea for our gardens and our flowers. And so this is just more trying to encourage you to, like I said, get in where you fit in and just get started. Yeah. So that's that. Green building, obviously green building is the culmination of design effort focused on eventual green building. I'll talk more about this project in a minute. I'll tell you now, it's in Bainbridge Island. This is Grow Community in Bainbridge Island. And it's just awesome. They've just done it right there. You can see how cool it would be. They're pretty dense, but the landscapes are productive. They're growing food. You're close to your neighbors, but the way they've designed the community and the homes, just really thoughtful, saves energy, inspiring place to live. So those kind of things. But green building from the Appraisal Institute this will be the only thing that I read to you the whole day, but it's the practice of creating structures and using processes that are environmentally responsible and resource efficient throughout a building's life cycle, from siding to design, construction, operation, maintenance, renovation, and deconstruction. It expands and complements classic building design concerns of economy, utility, durability, and comfort. High performance building and green building are often used interchangeably. I wanted to kind of start with this definition because it's the Appraisal Institute, and trying to frame green building through the lens of the real estate market is really critical. And really, as we'll learn, the real estate market identifies value for high performing buildings. So looking at it, green is kind of a mushy word. It's important to use because there's still so many people that need to be brought into the conversation. But really what we want is a high performance building. We want buildings that make us healthier, that help us, that use less energy, that make us happier, that produce energy, that reuse water, things like that. So let's see here, keep going on there. So I'm going to just we're going to zoom in and out of technical stuff and just conceptual stuff. I know we got a mixed crowd, so trying to give some meat in there, but also not put everybody to sleep. So renewable resources, obviously it's great, the energy that we used or the resources that we use to power, heat, cool our homes, and just do everything they need to do. Using renewable sources versus fossil fuel is ideal for obvious reason. It just keeps coming and coming. One being solar panels, the sun produces energy all day, every day, and you can use solar panels on your roof to power your home. At the bottom here is an example of geothermal. This is technically a heat pump, a ground source heat pump, but essentially it hooks your HVAC, your heating and cooling system of your house through the earth. And it's on a heat pump, which means it alternates heating and cooling cycles. And in the summer, it uses the earth as a heat sink. It takes excess heat from the house and puts it into the earth as a way to save energy. And then in the winter, it takes excess heat from the earth, because the earth in the winter is like 55 degrees median temperature. It takes, and it, you know, could be 0 degrees outside. So it takes that preheated energy from the earth and puts it into the house. So this idea of a heat pump is this, and you'll see it again, is an alternation between heating and cooling and using either ground or air to kind of pre-condition some of that. This is just a sun path diagram. In the northern hemisphere, the sun is in the south. So knowing where the sun is, you can site your, if you have the opportunity to site your house, you can position it so that you can take advantage of daylight. You can take advantage of low winter sun. You can see the low winter sun to provide free heat in the winter, but with the sun higher in the summer, you can use that to create shading opportunities that keep summer sun out and winter sun in. So there's a lot of low tech siting, you know, zero cost options that really help you work with nature versus against it. And if you have the opportunity, that's the best place to start. And obviously then you're kind of synced up with the light movement, circadian rhythms, and all these ideas of wellness and being just connected to the environment around you is a great idea. So another concept with green homes is resource efficiency. Obviously, once you have that resource in your home, how can you use it most efficiently? This is an example of daylighting. So obviously just designing your home, there's no lights on right now, right? But it looks nice and beautiful and inspiring. Daylight's a great quality of light. They've used clear story windows up here to provide extra daylight. So just design designing around daylight. This is a solar tube or a sun tube. There's different manufacturers. We actually have one in our living room and love it because, I mean, it brings sun to the middle of the room. So what's not to love there? Daylight. So, and then your plants are happier if you got more light in your house. And the thing that's cool is that as the clouds move, it has this dynamic swelling of light. So again, you're kind of connected in this hyper digital, super busy life we live. Being connected to exterior environment is really nice, and it's good for mental health and physical health. So that's a low hanging fruit opportunity there. Again, we're still on resource efficiency. Windows are a big deal. They're basically walls you can see through. So you need them to, you know, do a good job. And so you can see here's a cross section of a window. And a lot of times in a building, I'm just gonna go ahead and link these two concepts together, insulation. If you think about sleeping with your foot out of the covers in the bed at night, you know, your foot is cold because your foot doesn't have a blanket on it and it's losing heat to the room. It's the same reason why you want to wrap buildings in insulation and why these windows are decoupled. They're thermally broken such that heat doesn't go just straight from the inside to the outside. It's kind of giving it that separation. So here's some example. This is from Energy Star, just different U factors. Windows, they just look like pieces of glass, but in fact, they're letting different amounts of heat and visibility. There's a balance between heat transfer and visibility, and there's also code requirements for what's required as a bare bones level and then things you can aspire to. So just kind of leave it at that. Insulation, we'll talk more about that, but obviously it's very important to resist heat flow, to hang on to your conditioned air. You work so hard to get properly conditioned air. You don't want it, all of that input just going out everywhere. Energy efficient lighting. And then down here at the bottom, this is a blower door test. So this just talks about performance testing, kind of linking to this high performance concept. This is a test to ensure all the old houses are really leaky and they lose a lot of air and therefore a lot of energy. Nowadays, the motto is build tight, ventilate right, is kind of the slogan. There's a lot of caveats to be able to execute that well. It's very important that the execution is there, but it's imperative that we start to build our buildings tight and ventilate them right. And so this is a test of how to do that. You depressurize the house and you can tell how much air the house is leaking. This is back to the heat pump concept. The same thing, you know, the geothermal, like I said, is a ground source heat pump. This is an electric air source heat pump. So the same way that the earth was taking heat in the summer and giving heat in the winter, it's that same concept for air source heat pumps. And typically, you've heard ductless mini splits are a great example. We probably most know them as these boxes that are mounted on the walls. They're incredibly efficient. They're super, super quiet. And they've come a long way. They've been used across Europe and Japan and everywhere for a long time. And so this little wall box, that's a cassette, what we call a cassette. And now they have cassettes that you can fit into joists. You can fit them in walls. You can fit them in, you know, ceilings. So there's a lot proactively, again, design added value to integrate these systems into the building. You can get super high efficiency HVAC, which heating and cooling, it takes about 35% of a home's energy usage can be attributed to heating and cooling. So making good decisions on your heating and cooling systems have a big payback. This is a water heater, an electric water heater. I'm showing electric because the all electric homes are kind of the frontier of sustainability, because eventually they can be offset fully with renewables. So that's kind of the goal that we need to be going. So these are all electric solutions. This is a water heater. It has that same heat pump technology. So it's just an added efficiency there. Another benefit of this heat pump technology, it's variable refrigerant flow. I'm getting a little dorky now, but basically you can see here that all of these rooms have different temperatures in them. So because they have different zones, this not only translates from energy efficiency, but to max comfort as well, because this thing is so smart. It can modulate how much refrigerant is given to different rooms for maximum comfort in different zones. So that's great. So a win-win on comfort and energy efficiency. The idea of the smart home and smart home as smart thermostats. I saw someone mention, as we get into all electric homes and energy demand management and peak load. I mean, obviously we saw what happened in Texas, right? And these peak loads and transferring that, these smart homes can help us do a better job than we do managing all of our equipment. So it's definitely part of the solution. Water efficiency, of course, just everything from aerating your faucet to these are rain barrels to just capture water for irrigation in the landscape. There's drip irrigation at the top here. So if you are irrigating your landscapes, that it's drip and you're not just spraying potable water all over the world and wasting it. This is an example, a diagram of gray water system. So it's reusing rainwater and different things for a second use. So how can we, you know, continuously reuse stuff? And then this is just a note on how far, I mean, the improvements that we're continuing to make in energy and water efficiency are pretty impressive. And, you know, it's like we use 25% of the water we used to flush the toilet, which is great. This is a composting toilet. You know, that's great. Composting toilets. There's actually a skyscraper in Seattle, the Bullitt Center. It's a living building and it's a mid-rise office building with composting toilets. Pretty badass. And you could imagine the waters that's saved and everything that's done on site. So there's a lot of regulation hurdles around composting toilets, but definitely think they're a big solution of the past and the future. All right, next concept, healthy, durable materials and design. So obviously, you know, healthy materials, I kind of liken it to organic food, right? You could have two apples that look exactly the same, and one of them is coated in crazy pesticides that you don't want to eat, and the other one's great, you know, would make you healthier. So you can have materials that look the same that are radically different, and it is quite often that a lot of glues, adhesives, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we put in our food, in our buildings that maybe we don't want to after we all figure out what it is. And so these are some examples of healthy, durable materials. And you can even see these are clay paints up at the top here. I mean, just how warm and beautiful and kind of tactile that is. And I think there's just an innate, it's like a visceral connection to nature. That's pretty exciting. FSC, this is Forest Stewardship Council. This is saying that this wood has come from a forest that has been managed in a sustainable way to make sure we're not clear cutting forests and making a big problem right down the road. This is just about reuse and the opportunity for reuse, because that's one of the greenest things you can do is reuse things that already exist. Up here at the top right, this is by no means exhaustive, right? Materials, there are so many of them, but this is just some highlights that I like. At the top right, this is thermally modified wood. So they actually cook this wood, for lack of a better word, pressure and heat, and there is a molecular shift with the resins that allow it to be super stable dimensionally, as well as color fast. And there's several different manufacturers we'll see on the next screen here. This is an example of a house that used that. So this is Kebony as the manufacturer, but this is thermally modified wood, no maintenance. I believe they have like a 50-year warranty. I mean, it's bananas, but it's a higher upfront cost, but then the low maintenance, and then it's wood and warm and awesome, which is great. This is rammed earth. So this is actually dirt compacted and lifts with Portland cement. All of these solutions, there's climatic concerns. Buildings are complex and at the same time very simple, but so you can't do all these solutions in every climate, but just kind of an example of healthy materials that work for different folks. I mean, just how gorgeous that is. I mean, oh my goodness, that is gorgeous. This is an example of cork. This is cork sheathing. So essentially this is like bark on your house, which is pretty cool. Cork is a renewable resource. It pretty much all comes from Portugal, but the trees do not have to be killed to harvest the cork. So again, pretty cool. I love that. And then this is just bamboo, again, another rapidly renewable resource. And again, so whether it's energy or plants, what can we use in our houses that, one, don't have crazy things in them that make us sick, because being sick is way more expensive than the upcharge on those materials. And two, what can we use for plants and stuff that just regenerate, becoming more sensitive to where we're sourcing from. So now we're kind of getting into the a little bit of a nerdy side, but it's very important of note. So these are your 4 control layers of a building system. And these are in the order of priority. So there's an architect that I follow and love, Steve Basic. If it doesn't last, it doesn't matter. And that's a big deal. There's a lot of stuff getting thrown up pretty quickly that is not lasting, because buildings, they house our homes, but at the same time, they're resisting bulk water storms, they're resisting air pressure changes, vapor, seasonal shifts in vapor drive based on winter versus dry. And then of course, they're resisting heat flow. So collectively, we need to take our roof, walls, and floors seriously and help them do what they're supposed to do. Because when we manage these control layers, we had a durable wall system that keeps water out, because if water gets in, it starts to condensate. You can have mold. I mean, you can really start to create some indoor air quality issues in addition to rot and other problems that you do not want to deal with. This is a pretty great assembly. These folks, 475.com. It's a great technical resource for any body that's interested. And excited to say that we are building, Maypop Building Workshop has a project coming out of the ground starting next week, where we're going to be using a lot of these materials in here. It's going to be a bomber wall and roof assembly. So follow me on the Instagram if you want to keep up with that. It's going to be pretty cool. But just a big take that you could have the best materials in the world inside your house, and if the walls are rotting and filled with water and mold, that's not a green, healthy home.
And Betsy, actually, that's a very good point when you bring mold, because one of our attendees was asking about ideas that are more relevant for here, subtropical weather compared to the north. And humidity is insane here in Miami Beach, in Miami-Dade County. I mean, all Southeast Florida and Florida in general. So that's a very good point. And if there is any other that you want to highlight specifically for the area, giving the humidity, or any others that you would like to highlight, that would be great.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. So I'm glad you brought that up, because obviously we're all in different places. These 4 control letters, in every climate, you obviously need to manage bulk water, because keep it out of your window. Air, we need to manage airflow, build tight, ventilate right, because air carries moisture in it. And you can lose about 15% of energy through air infiltration, which is basically unmanaged air. And then also vapor, so there is humidity going either way, and thermal. So you have to solve these 4 problems in every climate, but they're solved differently in every climate. So for instance, in the Northeast, that's a cooling dominant climate. So you're going to focus more on thermal, the thermal at the end, versus in Miami, you guys are a cooling dominant climate. You need lots of dehumidification. So you're not going to have, your wall assembly is really going to, every wall assembly needs to manage bulk water really well and air, because moisture is in air and you just want to be able to control that. So, this wall assembly will absolutely look different in Miami versus the Northeast, but the big takeaway is just making sure that you're addressing these 4 systems. And unfortunately, there's not a one size fits all. There's a lot of different materials that can do this. And it gets pretty technical pretty quickly from a building science standpoint, but I guess hopefully that's helpful.
Yeah, Mike actually just throws in the chat, build tight, ventilate right. Smart and easy to understand and remember.
Yes, I must say I didn't coin it, but I share it for sure. And here's another one you keep: when you buy quality, you only cry once. So some of these things are an investment on the upfront, but you only cry once, so that's good. And not all of them will make you cry. Let me just clear that.
Betsy, I actually had a question myself. You mentioned your Maypop build workshops. Are those virtual or are they in person in Nashville?
So Maypop Building Workshop is actually our architecture and construction company, just kind of a novel name. Maypop is the nickname for Tennessee state wildflower. It is medicinal, edible, it's the passion flower. So don't really have workshops as much as it is a kind of playful name saying that we're really trying to be at the tip of the spear and do innovative, fun, cool projects that aren't your run-of-the-mill, slap it up, keep going, crank it out business model. So yeah, no workshops based on that name, but we do intend to do stuff like that in the future, but nothing on the books.
Good to know.
This is an example. These are easier things to do, clean air, water, house, green building. You obviously need those things. This is kind of the soft side of building, right? You can have a really green home. Once you create these high performance homes that manage air and manage energy well, you've got a really controlled environment. And if at that time you start bringing couches with flame retardants that are off-gassing into it, and cleaning materials that are putting all this crazy stuff, then you're kind of just steeping in it. So you want to be sure that you're bringing clean stuff into your house. And green cleaning is an easy way to go. Paint low VOC, volatile organic compounds is what that stands for. And basically, thankfully, the material industry has come a long way, but you want to look for low or zero VOC paints, coatings, stains, water-based things. Water-based solutions have come a long way. This is just an example of cleaning your filter regularly. In addition to making your HVAC system run more efficiently, it takes a lot of particulates out, right? It'll stop filtering. And there are HEPA, there's whole house HEPA filters. So depending upon your priorities and budget, you can really create some dedicated fresh air supply that's really well filtered. Radon, this is an example of, radon is an odorless carcinogenic gas that lives in the earth. That's very common. And if you're building a new house, it's really easy. It's about 8 linear feet of PVC in your concrete slab with more gravel, and it just, a new pipe goes all the way through the roof, and you leave an outlet in the attic such that if you ever need to add a fan, you could do that. So it's really easy to add on the front end. If the house is already built, you can do the same thing, and it kind of looks like a snorkel on the outside of the house. But all that to say, for a couple $1,000s, radon is a big deal, and mitigating it proactively or reactively after the house is built is a good idea. This is an example of a whole house water filter. There's lots of different filtration types, but these systems, as how are we filtering our air? How are we filtering our water? This is a great example of just taking your shoes off at the door or having a place for shoes. There's a lot of contaminants that we bring into our house. And so that's absolutely free way to make sure that, you know, you're dispersing the least contaminants as possible throughout your house.
That's it. I love the shoes. This is something that actually I do at my house, and had you know, when people were coming to my house before COVID, had a really hard time convincing some of my friends, like, no, you must remove your shoes. That's the rule in my house. Yeah, and definitely I love that one, because you see the difference too, you know, and even to maintain like your house clean, regardless of, you know, what you're bringing in. Yeah, definitely a plus. And Alisa here, she mentioned that, you know, she was like, oh yeah, we have to change our filter every 3 months. So what are like some of the things, right, that folks can be doing? So for example, the filter, I know that, you know, every 3 months we can check, and this is even for folks that have allergies, for example, that can make a huge difference, right? The duct of the air conditioner is something that, I don't know, like I moved to my house X years ago. Should I be looking at that? Probably. You know, like you mentioned, the water filter. Like I'm lucky that my fridge tells me when I need to change mine, but still, you should know. Like, so can you tell us some tips about like when we should, and things we should be looking at?
Yeah, so I think Alicia mentioned every 3 months is typically, I mean, depending upon your HVAC, if you have that really high MERV filters, sometimes they want you to change those a little more frequently. Or if you just have a lot, you know, have dogs with shedding hair, you know, some of that stuff ups the frequency. But you definitely want to change your air filters regularly. Some of them, there are reusable ones you can spray off. It depends on your system. Annually, you want to maintain things like your water heater and your HVAC unit, the condenser on the outside. The condenser's doing the hard work of changing, you know, the hot to cold. And so you want to spray your coils off. Water heaters, depending upon tankless and not, there's different maintenance requirements based on the manufacturer, but a lot of times that's flushing it. So kind of keeping the water heating and air conditioning, or those are big energy hogs, and maintaining those systems on an annual basis. A lot of times, a lot of folks will, I mean, they have a subscription that's really not that bad, and they'll come do it for you regularly. Is a good way to go. Yeah. All right. So I'm really excited about this next little bit. So here's a big concept. This actually made me very hopeful as a professional that builds things that will exist in the world. So carbon, right? I'm sure we've heard that. Carbon emissions, this idea of carbon, some people may know about it, some may not, but we're going to learn today. So there's two types of carbon. There's embodied carbon and there's operational carbon. And you can see here, embodied is, you know, the total tax on the earth for making the thing, like extracting the materials, taking it to a factory, manufacturing the parts, transporting to site, constructing it, using it, demolishing it, you know, that's a lot of stuff. And that's very important, as we'll see what's very, very important. The other carbon we'll talk about is operating, use and maintain the building. So collectively as an industry, we've been very focused on efficiency, and for good reason. It's important to be efficient. But as we continue to make strides in that arena, we need to not only be efficient, we need to figure out, we need to be efficient with things that didn't tax the hell out of the earth getting there in the first place. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. It actually has a much bigger impact to use. So let me keep going. Let's see here. So this concept of a building as a carbon sink. So, right, carbon emissions, human activity, climate change, we are all doing things that are making more carbon emissions, and we're warming the planet up, right? And if you look, we're doing things with a lot of fossil fuels industry, a lot of dirty things that have big impacts on the planet. Flooding, sea level rise, and we've all got tornadoes, just severe weather out the wazoo. There are some areas where they're thinking about not allowing 30-year mortgages now in certain areas. I'm in this realtor sustainability advisory group, 48 folks in the nation. And that's just, wow, that's crazy. We're kind of reaching the brink of severe weather having a really big impact on the market. So this idea, the building as a carbon sink, I think this is a solution, and this is the low carbon, high performance, right? So high performance has to do with operating carbon. We want it to perform, it wouldn't be a high performing building and use little water, little energy. But low carbon, am I going the wrong way? Oh, I am. Here we go. Low carbon means we don't want to tax the hell out of the earth making the building in the first place, right? So when we essentially, thankfully, nature knows what to do, and we're just figuring it out slowly. Plants grow, trees and plant-based products grow, and as they grow, they sequester gaseous carbon into, they put it in the roots, they'll store it in soil, which is why regenerative agriculture is really important. They're basically off, they're balancing our existence by saying, hey, we got you, we'll put all that carbon dioxide in the soil and in the plants. And then that's called carbon capture, carbon sequestration in the plants. And then by making building materials with these plants, we're essentially storing that carbon that would otherwise be raising the temperature of the earth. We're storing it in the built environment, and it's going to help us maybe stay alive. Enough of us do it. Maybe.
I hope so, Betsy. I hope so.
I hope so too.
I'm just giving you the 5-minute warning because I know you want to also touch on real estate. So
yes. Okay.
I'll be quiet now.
Yes, this is a big takeaway. So essentially plant-based. I'm going to show you, and I'll send this presentation to folks if they want. Building with plants. There's a lot of industrially friendly products. Sheet Good. This is a hempcrete house that uses plants in the hempcrete. This is actually giant straw bale Legos. This is badass. Looks like a regular house, but it's made with Legos. Foodscapes, obviously growing food on site, food for animals and pollinators, and including managing stormwater. These are just all the inspiring things you can do with your building. But yeah, green real estate. So why aren't there more green buildings around? Wouldn't that be cool if there were? So first off, there are realtors that have a green realtor designation. So if you can look for folks with NAR's green designation, and this is geared at really kind of tuning up the real estate industry. So state of the market, they're becoming the expectation. They're becoming more required, resource efficient homes by energy code. And most of the drivers are cost savings, health, sustainability, and lifestyle. But there's a big murky bubble that's different in different markets between price, cost, and value. This is the giant takeaway. Valuation is key. So you can see here, here's a row of townhomes in, there's a row of townhomes. They're using a thermal imaging camera. Essentially, this townhome here has a giant sweater on it. Like I talked about, it has insulation. So it's using less, it's losing less energy. Everything else is just leaking energy. So the red is lost heating and cooling bills. So at face value, you would probably look at that house and say, oh, it's just like that house. But you can see it is a high performing asset. In order for this person to be able to, so here we've got an example of, let's say that this house is $325,000 and this one is $300,000. In order for this seller who spent more money to make the house better, it will provide more value for the homeowners. The homeowners want to buy it. They'd be happy to pay $325,000 for because they get it. In order for them to be able to do that, the difference between, the regular home and the green home is this right here, is this green triangle. And in order for an appraiser, because when you buy a house, you use a lender, and the lender tells an appraiser to go out and tell how much the house is worth. In order for an appraiser to say this house is worth $325,000 and not $300,000, a whole bunch of stuff has to happen. And we'll talk about that now. The green MLS fields, multiple listing services. There's green fields that standardizes terms and allows data to be researched to establish value. Third-party verifications, these are green certifications where it is verified that they do that blower door test. They give the home a home energy rating. score that says basically this is how it's like a performance score for the house. And it just basically says that someone has verified that the building does perform as they're marketing it to. And then finally, this is the most important thing, is the Residential Green Energy Efficiency Addendum. It is from the Appraisal Institute. It's a standardized national form, and you cannot choose your appraiser, but you are allowed by right through Fannie Mae. You have to get an appraiser that's qualified to appraise a certain property type. High performance homes are a special type of property, so you need someone with a certified green appraiser. And the listing agent needs to have this energy efficiency addendum filled out. So you can see it's kind of complex, but it's very important. So you want to get a green realtor. Lenders need to have green appraisers on their panel. You just got to have people that give a crap a lot to help pull it together, but it is doable. So then the appraiser will look at the comparable sales. The seller has their receipts of how I paid this extra amount of money on the HVAC, et cetera. And collectively, they build a story that says that that house is worth $325 and not $300. So if the appraiser says it's worth $325, then the bank will give them the full amount of money. If they do not, if all those pieces aren't in play and these people try to sell their house and the bank says it's only worth $300,000, the person that wants to buy that needs to have $25,000 extra dollars out of pocket to be able to buy the house. So that's why it's so important to get the real estate side of things. There's mortgages that basically understand that savings in energy is the same thing as income. So they'll adjust your debt to income ratio, which is a financing mechanism that's really important to see how much you can afford. And then just really quickly, oh, I can't believe I'm almost done. This is Grow Community. This is an aerial. Look how cool this is. Super, super dense, Bainbridge Island. You can see the site plan kind of notches them around. They got solar panel. They're using one planet living concept. They've got, you know, flats, stacked flats. They've got detached single family. The homeowner association actually covers maintenance of the grounds, which is really cool. So you can have these edible landscapes. Rain chains, they're awesome. How cool is that? And then, boom, that's me. Follow me on Instagram. BetsyBomb.com. Maypot Builds. Like I said, we're about to start a really cool ground up project, low carbon, high performance in Nashville. So.
Love it, love it. Thank you so much, Betsy. And I love the last pictures you show. I wish that was, you know, that's the oh look, it's the dream design. Folks, for the folks that are planning on a new home, retrofitting your home, please see those examples. Think about renewable, think about a more sustainable home. So yeah, thank you so much, Betsy. I really appreciate it. And now we're going to see if the folks will really pay attention to it, because now it's about Kahoots time.
Well, we have two questions in the Q&A. Well, three now, if you want to go through those while I share the screen, Flavia.
Sure. If Betsy, if you can stop sharing the screen and Yoni
Perfect.
can start sharing hers. And all right, let's see. How many green homes have you built?
So how many green homes at Maypot Building Workshop itself? We are just about 2 years old. So we've been coming out of renovations and custom carpentry that particular, our particular company. I was a licensed architect at a lot of the firms in Nashville, big mixed use, multifamily infill that's going on, a lot of cities. I have some clients I'm shopping for land with, and we're going to do a really cool green A-frame that we're going to design and build. So just getting started on our own personal home, on our personal project. But so I've been involved in a lot of different projects in a lot of different ways.
Awesome. And then how did you get into this industry?
How did I get into it? Ooh, I didn't think I actually had a troubled past like some people do, and design, I just miraculously came out of that and ended up going to college. And I thought I was going to engineering, and I had an English teacher that had us define a career. Engineering started to look a little black and white, and then architectural engineering was in a book, and I was like, that'd be cool. And here I am. After like 13 years later, I was a licensed architect.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Betsy. We really appreciate it. And Noel had some questions about, specifically folks working with green building in Miami Beach, in Miami-Dade County. I know, like, definitely we have a lot. I think if you look at green building designers, folks that are lead AP, and Alicia, please put just lead AP so he knows what I'm talking about in the chat. You can definitely find folks that, that's what they do. They pretty much design green homes, green buildings. So we do have those professionals here in Miami-Dade County as well. If Betsy, if you want to move to Miami, you're more than welcome. Miami Beach,
Ooh,
really.
I will I'll get my license there and I can come beach it up. We'll look at things at the beach. No, but like the American Institute of Architects, they have a committee on the environment. That would be a good place to start. And there's also United States Green Building Council is a great place to start trying to find folks on that front.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And guys, we are running out of time, so we are going to jump on Kahoot. If you have not yet joined, go to kahoot.it and then you put the pin 1192220. And Yanni, you go run the show.
Awesome. So I know we have a good number of people in the workshop, but we'll get started just for the sake of time. If you haven't played this game before, we're going to ask you a series of questions based on everything that you learned today. You'll get points based on the correct question and also how fast you answer. So you just have to compare the answer to the shape and color on your phone or whatever device you're using. So let's get started.
And I saw in the chat, we have a lot of pros today in Sustainachella, so it will be competitive. And Betsy was not easy with her questions either, so I'm really looking forward.
All right, let's get started. Which is not a tip for conserving energy in your room? Not a tip. Yep. Keeping your electronics running and all day and night is not going to help you with conserving energy. So we have H2O at the top. So next question. Which insulation has the lowest embodied carbon?
Kahoot has new songs too. So
yeah, straw bale. Next question. Well, let's see. Oh, Green for Life is at the top now. Someone's very dedicated. Which is not one of the 4 control layers of any well-designed wall system? Wow. Oh, I think I had, is this one correct, Betsy? Oh, you're on mute.
muted, Betsy.
Noise is actually
Oh, it's
not.
noise. I'm sorry. I just
okay.
put in the question. So noise. I'm sorry, everyone. All right, next question.
It's
You're all winners.
Yeah, you're all winners. We're all going crazy.
What's noise? Whoever got noise
Nobody's
is correct. All right, let's see. Green for Life. And next question. If a 100% financed first-time home is under contract for $325,000 and it appraises for $307,000, how much cash would be needed for down payment?
So yeah, first-time home buyer. Sorry, I don't know if I first-time home buyer.
Are the mathematicians in the room?
Yes, $18,000.
All right. See, otherwise that first-time homebuyer could have had a green home, no money out of pocket. They were able to establish the value.
I like the diversity in the winners here. We have little greener at the top.
2.
Next question, last one. True or false? Energy conservation and water conservation are simple ways to lead a more sustainable lifestyle. That's an easy one. Yep, it's true. And everyone got it right. And let's see who's at the top. H2O, I have a feeling I know who that is. Joey and A little greener. Awesome, thank you. Let's stop sharing so
Awesome.
we can jump over to Flavia.
All right. Little green, huh? Awesome. Love it. And oops, what happened with my slides? Oh no. Can you guys see it? I
Yeah, we
think
see it.
We see the last slide? Yeah? Okay,
Yep.
good. I don't see the last slide. That's how crazy my computer is. But I think it's because it's Earth Month. It's like my brain, my computer, nobody's sleeping. Everybody's like, well, it's Earth Month. We got to do this. So anyways, folks, as usual, thank you so much for joining us. We are super excited, with our panelists today. Jennifer, Betsy, Alicia, thank you so much for the presentations. Before we wrap up, well, also I want to thank our team, PJ, Yanni, Molly, Michelle, Amanda, and everyone that helped us, but mostly to our attendees for joining us today. And Betsy, Jennifer, any last words you would like to share?
Ooh, no, just get started. Something small. It's a slippery slope, psychological win, baby steps.
I love that. And we're all a big community, so let's support each other, taking those little baby steps that are going to snowball into even bigger things. So all together now.
And I will also, one other thing, if you've done something in the past that you wouldn't do again with new information, it's okay. Just move forward. And it's not about shaming you for past. It's about hope for the future. So.
All right. And guys, you saw little things, aerator, like cleaning your filter, your air filter. So start with little things. All right, we gotta wrap up. Well, thank you so much again. Finishing with much love and gratitude. Yes, sending that positive energy.
Thank you, everyone.
And next Friday, right, Yanni, we have more.
Oh yes, we have another Sustainachella next Friday on Biscayne Bay and how you can defend it.
Yeah, and we are talking about fertilizers, and we have a new fertilizer ordinance in Miami Beach.
And you get credits of all kinds if you attend.
Love it.
So we're waiting
Bye,
for
guys.
Jay now.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Betsy, you're amazing. Thank you.
You too. Y'all have a great day. Happy Friday. Woo!
PJ, can you kick us off?
That's okay. We'll just sit here and have a tea. Or we can keep talking about sustainability.
I think we're slowly losing everyone too.
Let's see, is there folks still here? I can't see.
103, so we're.
My computer gets crazy.
I think we're good now, right? Okay, I think we're good, so we can end now. We can leave now. PJ, I think you're gonna have to kick us off too from Zoom because you're the host.
It says it's still live, Yanni.
I know.
We can put the music again, do some dancing. Still have 7 participants hanging out with us. Maybe they, ADD, they're doing something else, or they're just thinking it's really funny.
Oh, PJ, can you end the Zoom? I'm texting him because we need to jump on another. We need to jump on another call. Let's see.
Can you kick it out as being the co-host?
They won't, because he's the host, that's why. I think we're gonna have to just